It's very interesting. I really started listening to a lot of diverse hip hop, and my ear was tuned into the Atlanta sound because at that particular time there was a lot of hip hop coming out of Atlanta at that particular time. So we're talking from West Coast back to East Coast, and groups like Criss Cross, Arrested Development, and then Jermaine Dupri was really starting to blow up, and then TLC, and then Outkast. So there was a big movement in Atlanta at that particular time. And so I really wanted to be a part of it, so I moved to Atlanta from LA. It's just like, okay, I want to be a part of this sound because I know it was blowing up, and at that particular time, the Atlanta scene was just really, really solid, and I really loved the sound. So I moved to Atlanta. I didn't know anyone there, and it was about networking. As soon as I got there, I just started really going to the studios and just hanging out and just meeting and networking as much as I possibly can. And as listening to some of the previous interviews with Greg and with Rich, that was one of the main things. Get out and network. Pass your card out. Just be aggressive, but don't be rude with your aggression, but be kind with your aggression and get to know people. So I didn't know anyone there. I was just on the scene. And one thing I did was I put an ad in a local paper called The Creative Loafing. And I wanted to be really creative with it. So all I did was put "The Funk is Here" in The Creative Loafing and my telephone number. That was it, just that. And so I started getting a lot of crazy calls, like, you can really weed the calls out like in a second, like, no, thank you, no, thank you. But I got a call from a DJ in Macon, Georgia, which is about 45 minutes south of Atlanta. And his conversation was pretty cool. I could see he had it together and he wanted to connect. So I was like, okay, come up to my studio and let's hang out and, we can see what we can do. So we started talking and playing each other's music. I was playing some tracks, he played some tracks, and it's like, wow, this is really cool. And he said, there's a guy that I want you to meet. You guys actually look the same. You're in the same music. Because I was into R&B, I was into hip hop, I was into like Prince, and that time, there was a lot of Minneapolis sound going on. And he said, give this guy a call. His name was David Norman. So I called David, and we kind of hit it off immediately on the phone. He's like, hey man, let's meet. I'm in the studio right now with Arrested Development. We're doing their second record, and come on down to the studio. So I went down to the studio, and that particular time, everyone was there, at the group, because they were laying their tracks down for this second record, which was the follow-up to 3 months, 5 years, and 2 days, which was, 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days, which was the big Grammy-winning record. So it was just an immediate connection with everyone. I actually played some bass, got a chance to meet everyone, and they were preparing for their first world tour. This is their biggest, just the biggest tour that, of their career. So they needed a bass player. Who would have thunk? They were using a guy named Foley, who was playing with Miles Davis at the time, but he had just gotten a record deal on a label called Mo Jazz. So he couldn't go out on this particular tour because he was doing his own thing and he wanted to do his own record and put his own band together. And it was just the perfect time, perfect place, and perfect situation. So I was asked to go out on their first major world tour with them. And that was just the catalyst to everything that I did in Atlanta, because we went to South Africa and played for Nelson Mandela. We did David Letterman, we did Jay Leno's show. We did the Peter Gabriel WOMAD tour, which was an amazing, amazing tour. It was a festival. It was like a traveling festival because all the vendors traveled with us. They had clothes vendors, they had music vendors. Greenpeace was on that tour with us. So that was just an amazing experience because every show that we did 11 shows at Peter Gabriel, and every show we did, I would look side stage, and there was Peter right side stage checking us out, like just into it, like a fan of ours. And I was just like, that's really amazing. Every show he's side stage, and I got a chance to meet just all of the groups there, and it was something that really stood out to me on that tour was he got groups from all over the world to play this festival. There was the Grow Brothers from China. He got the Levelers from England. His group was from England. He got Lucky Dubé from South Africa. It was just a group called Live from Pennsylvania, York, Pennsylvania, my home state. And some of the groups could not even speak English because it was just that diverse. But the music is what brought us together. And sometimes, we'd be in a room, really couldn't communicate language, but musically we could actually play together. And a couple of shows, some of the groups would come out and just, especially on encores, they would come out and just jam with us. And that was just a really, really cool experience. So I thank Peter Gabriel for exposing me to just that world music, that world community of music. That was a really good experience.